GhostBSD reviews, tutorials and gaming.
Before we start, if this is your first time to the channel and you would like to learn more about FreeBSD and the journey to a better desktop and server, then please hit subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. Booting into the test machine, which is an HP DC5700, the specs are on screen. And we're going to install GhostBSD 20.01. And as you may have seen in previous videos, GhostBSD will boot off the USB stick and go into a live desktop. But the install process is exactly the same as the previous versions. It's one thing about GhostBSD which is really nice, is that they don't change what already works for them. They'll improve things and they'll tweak things. They won't radically change things just for the fun of it. So we're just starting up. This is on a USB 2 stick, so it's not the fastest. Now we have to choose a graphics driver, and although the machine is using a Intel graphics chipset, I'll have to use VESA. Simply because it's the only one that I could get a dual screen out, one that goes into the recording device that I use to capture, but also the other is to a monitor so I can see in real time what's happening. But normally I would choose the Intel driver. Now we're onto the familiar desktop of GhostBSD. I have a USB TP-Link dongle plugged in. And we'll just connect to the available Wi-Fi. Still showing an Ethernet port, but that's fine, it'll change. Just going to connect to the test Wi-Fi that I use. I would imagine that the Ethernet icon will change once we're connected in. There we go. So it's already changed. Right, and we can now start the installation. And as in previous install videos that I made, you select the keyboard layout, the location. Time zone. Select UFS. And I'll select that particular drive for this machine. And yeah, that's fine. A super safe password. Real name, well, it's RoboNuggie. Username fills in automatically, which is cool. Password, super safe one again. And I'm going to change the shell from fish. And that's it. Installing GhostBSD, as in previous times, is super easy. There you go, I just skipped it. It didn't install that quick. And we'll restart. We'll log into the installed system and start a review. Changes since GhostBSD 19.10 are that the system has got updated to 12.1 stable. Mate is now at 1.22.2. They've added a warning when an incorrect password is used in the software station, and there's been a fix to the UI installer limitation with GPT and UEFI. And two issues that were reported have also been fixed. That was bug number 123, was a GBI partition wasn't working properly, and feature number 117 was to swap over doas for sudoas. for the network manager code. Right, what we're going to do is I'm going to run a few system resource measurement tests. These really should be done if the system is under heavy load, but we'll do it now just after we boot it in. The first one is going to be top, and in particular we're looking at the measurement of memory. It's 286 megabytes, which is very nice. H-top equivalent is 575, but it measures it in a different way than regular top. And the next one we're going to use is VMstat. There's not going to be a great deal to measure here because, well, you know, we're not doing anything. But this gives you an overall picture of resting GhostBSD. And next one will be IOStat. Again, there's not a great deal going on. They're useful tools to memorize, actually. Systat is next, with the IOStat switch. Again, not much going on across the drives. DF to see the file structure. ProcFS and LimProcFS automatically set up, which is a very nice touch from GhostBSD. We'll be looking at that later. NeoFetch. Well, see, NeoFetch doesn't come pre-installed, but it's easy to install it. And I'm going to show you. So pkg install NeoFetch. Put a password, and there we go. And yes. So we'll just type in NeoFetch now. Should come up with a nice graphical display. There we go. So FreeBSD 12.1 stable, 64-bit, Mate, and just on a Pentium E6700 dual core. Yeah, everything about the system. Very nice. I do like NeoFetch. Next up, we're going to run Linus. And previous scores were roughly, for FreeBSD out of the box, would be 50, 60, 58. We'll see how this one works. Scroll up. 57, yeah. So that's not too bad. That's on average. That leaves you plenty of room to tighten things up with a firewall. Very nice. Next up, we're going to have a look at upgrading the system, or specifically the install applications and components. It's already updated. So we're going to do pkg upgrade. If I can remember to go into super user. And this is the preferred method I tend to use all the time. FreeBSD really doesn't have a... Well, it never used to, but it really doesn't come with a GUI package manager upgrade facility. But GhostBSD does. So I think in this instance we'll just go for the GUI version. So if we go down to system administration and then update station. I like the fact they call it update station. That pretty much tells you what it is. And there's the same list of things to upgrade. It makes no difference which method you choose. I just wanted to show this one. Right, we'll let it go in and I'll skip to the end because it does take a while. The test Wi-Fi I've got going is not the fastest. And that's finished, but we'll restart. Right, seeing as GhostBSD is very much geared towards the desktop, let's have a look at the wallpapers. This GhostBSD one there I added, but the rest is what you get by default. That one there is what you get as default when you first install or the live session. Very much all of them are nature inspired except for this one, which is like a city, and this one is a lake somewhere in the mountains. Very nice. And if there's any that you want, you could always add them yourself. Okay, let's have a look at fonts. Pretty explanatory. And themes. Well, you don't get many choices in terms of themes, but the default one is pretty much okay. We're going to have a look at then we'll look at the control panel. You got the printer settings. There's not a printer configured, but I'm going to try and attach it to my network printer, which is running Ubuntu. So I just put in the password. And add. I've got network printer. Yeah, I got that one. Find a network printer. So just put in the IP of my the local machine. Oh, nice. Picked it up. And I'll just click OK. You can't see it because it's slightly off screen. And there I'll just leave that. And done. How easy is that? That is really simple. It picked up the network printer very, very nicely. And I think, yeah. There's various ways to control it. Very nice. 10 out of 10 for that. There's your software station if you want to install new applications, and your update station, which there are no updates available if you want to upgrade things. Keyboard shortcuts if you want to define them. Keyboard layout if you want to change it or tweak it. Your displays if you want to change how many monitors you're using. With this one it's just a single test monitor. Your mouse. Again, if you like the keyboard, if you want to change your settings or tweak it. Power management. I've got it set to doing nothing at the moment, but if you want to change it for your screensaver or to lock, it's fine. And your sound preferences, which I don't really touch because everything works okay. Your network proxy. It's not set to any at the moment, but if you want to change that. And your appearance, as we looked at earlier, for themes. Main menu. If you want to edit or remove some items, very useful. Pop-up notification. Now this is one which interests me. I don't know why it interests me, but it does. And I like to change one to... No, I don't like that one. I don't like that. Oh, that's kind of... I don't know. Yeah, I like that one. That goes with a theme. No, I don't like that one. So I'm going to go with Coco. I like that. Screensaver. If you want to have a screensaver going. I don't know if you really need them these days, but you know, some people might like them. Station tweak if you want to alter some settings. There's not a lot here, but some of the things are quite useful. If you want to change the layout of the menu system, for instance, to look like Windows or Netbook or whatever you want, or Purity. Yeah, keep it on main. And compositing if you want to turn it on and off. And you turn off when you drag it. Compositing, yeah. I don't know whether to leave that on or off, but the effects, if you have it off, is quite dramatic. It's like, for instance, there's no shadow at the moment. Even just turning it on will give you that little semi-3D look. Quite useful now. You've got multiple windows stacked on top of each other. Okay, done that. About me, if you want to change that. Assistive technologies, if you need any help with reading characters or movement. File management, where you can change the various options available in Kaja. Useful add-ons, actually. Pretty nice. Preferred applications, if you want to change what pops up when you click on various things. And for audio and video. And startup applications. Well, there's a few in here. If you want to leave them as default, that's fine, but you might want to change one or two just to speed things up. And that's okay. Whilst everything's perfect, you might say, are there any bugs? Well, I found this particular one. If I create a new folder or a new document, doesn't matter, nothing appears on the desktop. But if I go into, just show you there's not there, look, if I just go into the home folder and click on desktop there, then they show up on the main one. So I don't know whether that's my video drivers or the machine that I'm using or a slight problem that I might want to have a look at. I don't know. It's no big deal, but it can be kind of bewildering if you create something and it doesn't show up. Right, now I'm going to test out USB. I'm going to plug in a Windows 10 installed USB, and it's picked it up very nicely. And there you are, it's a Windows 10 USB. I'll just go down and mount it. And the next one I'm going to plug in is a FreeBSD formatted USB stick that uses UEFI. So it's picked up both the FreeBSD formatted part and also the MS-DOS part. Or FAT32, I can't remember which one it uses. Very good. So for USB compatibility, it works quite well and auto mounts everything. The scan light works very nicely, it detects it. What am I looking for? I'm just going to test something out, actually, printers. I'm going to print out a test page, and then I'm going to scan it into Scanlight and see if it works as they should. So I'm just printing out the test page. I'm going to take that test page, I'm going to pop it into the scanner. And then I'm going to scan it. If I can find it. There we go. Right, let's have a look. So we can... yeah, I'm going to reduce that. I don't need that to be so high. And leave it at that. And change it to grey because it's black and white anyway. And scan. There you go. Yeah, it's an Ubuntu printer server that I use. And I'm going to save that and close. Close that. So if I look there, there's a newly scanned image of the printer that we did. Very good. So GhostBSD handles all the usual office-related duties very well indeed. Peripherals work with no problem at all. Although I am using a network printer, but it's still the same. Even if I've connected it locally, it would work. And I'm just going to try scanning a document into a PDF. Scan mode, I think. Scan it. I think it's doing it. The scanner's working anyway. And there we go. So it's converted. Well, it's scanned it at the moment, but then we're going to save it as OCR. I've never used OCR. Looks funny. So we're going to save that as a PDF. Yeah, you can choose all these different options if you want, but PDF is what I'm here for. Save. It appends the date on it, which is quite nice. And there it is, it's popped up with a preview, which is very nice of it. Let's close that out. And checking the home folder now. Now we've got two files, one PNG, one PDF, of the same printed document. Excellent. Everything works as it should. So that could be some essential documents that you need doing, or it could be anything really. And GhostBSD will handle that for you, as it should. So all the peripherals I need, USB sticks, printers and scanners, for my particular need, works very well indeed with GhostBSD. Now we're going to try plugging in a webcam. I'm just going to plug it in. And I'm going to be using PWC View. Switch F with 30, so that's 30 frames. And there we go. Webcam. Very impressed so far. There we go. Little demo of the test screen right now. Ooh wee. Gonna get all 3D now. Look. Brilliant. I love that. Reminds me of Doctor Who. The old series. Right. So that works perfectly. Absolutely brilliant so far. Can't fault it. What we got now? Yeah, the games. Well, the games are limited by the machine that it's running on. It's not GhostBSD's fault, but so I've put some which I think will work. You've got an Atari emulator. Hatari is in this case. I was always an Amiga person, but I did contemplate buying a Atari when it first came out. Seems to work fine. Very good. And games-wise, what other games we've got? We'll try that one. It's a basic card game. I could have installed more, but this machine really does lack the graphics capability to run more complex games. It's not GhostBSD, it's the test machine. Gemdrop X and Rocks and Diamonds. I like Rocks and Diamonds. I did a terminal version of Rocks and Diamonds game in a previous video. That was actually quite fun. Wow, there's a lot of levels to load. I'll let it carry on and then we'll just get on with this one. Now this one is just like your normal shape one where you got to match them up, but rather than being automatic, you catch them and then throw them up. So that's kind of unusual. Not that I'm good at it. Still loading up the levels of the Rocks and Diamonds game. Good grief. Oh, we've done it. We've finished now, have we? Everybody knows Rocks and Diamonds. It's very nice. It's a very good game, actually. So yes, basic games. Nothing that's going to make you throw away your consoles anytime soon. bit if you want to, while away 10 minutes, 15 minutes while you're waiting for something. They're perfectly fine. Right, I'm just going to have a look at the GhostBSD website itself. It's a very nicely laid out website, very well done. And it leaves you in no uncertainty what GhostBSD looks like. And if you want to download it, just simply go to the download tab. You can direct download from the United States, Canada, or France, whichever's nearest to you. In my case, it's France. So I'll just download that. And my Wi-Fi is not the fastest on this, so it will take a long time. And this is the GhostBSD forums. And the GhostBSD forums are very friendly. Highly recommend you go there if you've got any problems or questions. Well, I didn't go into too much detail of this particular release. I had to cut back the video. The video itself was about 50 minutes long, so I'll cut back 20 minutes going into all the configuration files. I might actually release a video of that later to show you. But what do I think of it? Well, absolutely brilliant. There's only one tiny little fly in the ointment, which was the folders and the text files on the desktop. But I'm still not sure whether or not that was my machine's fault or a thing in it. I've never noticed it before, but it could still be my machine's graphic card. It's very, very slow, so maybe it just didn't refresh. But apart from that, absolutely brilliant. Everything I plugged in, everything I've got anyway is guaranteed to work with FreeBSD, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. But everything I plugged in, the webcam, the scanner, the printer, on the printer server, the USB sticks formatted to, I think it would have been either FAT32 or NTFS and MS-DOS. I'm not sure what they were. But anyway, it was a FreeBSD stick with UEFI and a Windows 10 installed USB. And they popped up no problem. The limited games that I installed work no problem. The Office applications work. It's just, you get to a point where it's difficult to improve upon what you've already improved. And that's a good thing. If it was so all broken, then each release will be, dramatically different from the rest, and you think, crikey, they're on the up. But I think GhostBSD reached, it's kind of, I want to say the zenith, but it reached a high point, and it stayed there. So it's very little that you can do to improve something that's already very good. So GhostBSD is a fantastic addition to the BSD family, to the FreeBSD family. The GhostBSD is very, very polished, and you can tell it's put together with love and care. And I've enjoyed reviewing this. I've enjoyed using it as well. So well done to the developers. Excellent. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.